Bullet Club for life. Just do
Hello, hello, hello. Let's get that down. And let's get this going. How goes everybody? How goes you? How goes this world as it spins on a day where it opts to go crazy, at least in some corners of it? One of which perhaps maybe near and dear and close to home to one of the 20 of you, probably have my doubts. Whoop whoop. So, what do we aim to do whenever the world opts to be shit? What do we aim to accomplish at that point? Do we sit there and watch it burn? Certainly, because we are not foolish enough to get embroiled in all of that. Nay, no. Instead, we aim to help. Okay, full disclosure, I totally had this stream planned before I found out about all this other stuff. And this other stuff just sort of like it's compounded with some personal shit and all sorts of other stuff. So, you know, the whole theme idea of like helping while the world goes crazy, just kind of a happy accident or a sad accident. It's an accident. Part-time napkin. What are you whenever you're not a napkin? Are you like a kitchen fork? Cheers. What we will do is what we were going to do anyhow, which is have day 4 of the Slay Cancer Stream-a-Thon and help people with cancer. Yeah. So for those of you who, if this is your first stream, first time watching during this event, the incentives list that you see on your left are all things that can be unlocked during the marathon, the Stream-a-Thon, the whatever-a-thon you want to call it. They're there for you. If you need an explanation for any of them, just ask. But if you donate to the Slay Cancer Stream-a-Thon, you could put your donation toward one of those incentives towards unlocking them. Or you could put it to nothing and be a nice person and then have me harass you about putting it to one of the incentives, because I worked really hard to get those incentives together. I worked really hard to get the courage to do some of that crazy stuff, like strip for some of you weirdos, and have mysteries, and potentially put myself at risk with 24 hours of live streaming. I put a lot of effort into it, man. Anyway, if you do donate to the cause, which you can do so with the link that's directly below my picture or in the description box of the live stream video, please let me know which incentive you want it to go toward. That way we can creep those numbers up closer to being complete. I does what I can. I can what I does, if that makes any sense. I don't even know. I don't even care. So, lots of things have happened ever since the last stream. There's a good chance that if you were not here for the last stream, you're probably wondering, when was it? When was the last stream? I was not properly informed, Cover Killer Nation. Well, guess what? Technically you're right, but technically you're wrong. This stream was announced. It was announced all over the CKN social media multiverse, but most, of course, pronounced over on the Facebook page, which a long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, like 5 years ago, whenever the page was started, I was made to believe, seduced by marketing even, that if I had a Facebook page, every single person that joined it would be able to know at the blink of an eye when something's going on. If there's a brand new video that I just released, I can pop the link over there, and in the blink of an eye, everybody would see that there's a new CKN video. If I was live streaming, in the blink of an eye, all 7,792 of you, well, there's been a couple more since then, so we'll say 7,800 of you that's over on the Facebook page would know about it, and I would have magically 7,800 people in my chat room. Well, Facebook is just a little short. Just a little teeny tiny bit short. Because the last stream was announced to a grand total of 80 of you. So, good chance that out of the 80, some of you probably saw it after it was over. Either that or you didn't see it at all. So, streams, as stupid of a decision as this sounds, streams will no longer be announced on the Facebook group. But don't fret. My solution is very, very good. Go to twitch.com/coverkillernation. In fact, let me get you that link. Or excuse me, twitch.tv. I will type it out for you. And on this, you will see the option to follow this channel. Do it. Follow that channel, because we will be hopping over to Twitch very soon. We will be abandoning this YouTube ship as far as streaming is concerned. And if you follow the channel and you let them know that you want notifications, anytime I go live, you're going to get an email to your handy little email. And I know that you guys have cell phones. I'm not stupid. I know that you have cell phones that you probably keep close to your hip, or at least close by, on a constant basis. So there's a much better chance this way that if all 7,800 people follow the channel, receive notifications, well, we'd see that number of people watching going up pretty darn fast. Yeah, call your friends, let them know CKN is live. CKN is live with a good cause. Ryan James Dio's Stand Up and Shout Cancer Foundation. We are going wild and running wild. Mr. Poison B, I see, has already followed, so thank you very much, Mr. Poison B. You rule. I appreciate that. Twitch integration will be coming very, very soon, considering the new system is here. You didn't get a chance to know about that, I bet you, because you didn't know about the stream, because Facebook's lovely. I sent them a very, very mean email. I can't exactly march to their headquarters. Not with the way the world is today, where apparently cars just drive through counter-protesters and, you know, the common cold still exists. That's a piss. That's a piss. Am I looking forward to the new Star Trek series? I'm looking forward to see what they do with it, mostly, because the movies have been good. I've liked the movies a lot. But anyway, let's not harp or fret too deeply on the fact that Facebook is one of the worst platforms on the universe. Let's not harp on the fact that they want you to give them money so they can increase your reach whenever they don't even reach out to the people that you've already been able to gain organically. Let's instead focus on the task at hand. Have I ever seen Ghost live? I've seen them live twice. They are excellent. They are fantastic. I recommend it 100%. One of the biggest examples I can give you is that I saw them with Opeth and Mastodon. Ghost, believe it or not, at one point was an opening band, and that's exactly what they were. And they may have been one of the best opening bands for a concert that I've ever seen. Everybody was hanging on to everything that Ghost was doing. You could tell from that audience. And this is a report I also got from various audiences or various individuals that attended shows within that concert series, within that tour series, should I say, that was the moment where you could tell that Ghost was no longer going to be just an opening act. They were destined to be headliners. They weren't destined to be supporting acts. They were destined to be the one that fronts the bill. And now, of course, as you see, times have changed. Times have changed. The fact that they opened for Maiden, I think that's the only way in which, at this moment, Ghost is going to be a supporting act, is that if it's like an Iron Maiden, a Judas Priest, you know, a huge, well-established band that's been around for a long time and means the absolute world to heavy metal. So that makes sense. That makes sense. So how's everybody doing? What's going on with you guys today? I hope you guys are having an excellent afternoon despite the fact that everything's gone a little nuts. I'm still really, really tempted to pop a link other places, but I need to stay steadfast on my feelings on the matter. Because I really don't know any other place to maybe place something aside from maybe making a quick little video and posting it, but then I would have to stop the stream to do that. That is what I would have to do. Good morning, since you are in Melbourne. So it's Sunday over there, am I correct? So happy Sunday to you, Debonair Nerd. But as of right now, I am drinking Arnold Palmer Light, half and half, iced tea / lemonade, because only true certified badasses, only the best of the best, the pinnacle of society, the ones in which we would wish become leaders of the free world as opposed to just casual watchers as it burns to the ground. Well, it's only they who really enjoy a nice refreshing beverage from Arnold Palmer. May he rest in peace. It's 5 p.m. here in Ohio. It's 5 p.m. here in Pennsylvania. Congratulations, we are in the same time zone. And the neighbors below me have decided that they're going to start their music, which means it's time for me to get louder. And it's time for me to become an angry asshole. But you know what? I won't do that. You know what? I won't do that. Crack open a Pale Communion, metal toucan, send me some Pale Communion, and I'll crack one open with the boys and girls. Because I don't have any of that right now. My drink list is unique, to say the least. I have, alongside of the Arnold Palmer, this lovely Aqua Fana bottle of approximately 500 ml of sparkling dihydrogen oxide. A drink so dangerous it could potentially kill you. But I live on the edge. I have also a very small amount of minute Madi lemonade. A lovely and beautiful yellow container that kind of looks like piss. But whenever I drink it, Surprisingly, it's a step up from piss. It's also gone. And then we have the beast itself, where each claw mark is actually a representative of a 6. I'm drinking Satan's piss. Or maybe his sweat. Hopefully it's not something that, comes out the back door. Because, ew. And if that comes out like greenish whatever color, then Satan might have to consult like a satanic doctor. But we have Monster energy drink, or standard regular flavor, because all those other flavors are for hipsters and idiots that don't understand what taste is. And this is almost gone too, so. Bottoms up on that as well. So we will be enjoying the heck out of, well, right now, the tea and the water. I say satanic doctor and summon Wobbin. It's sort of like a strange ritual. Instead of putting like all sorts of things that remind us of him in a circle and maybe fucking with a Ouija board, all I have to say is satanic doctor really loud. It's actually it's a simplified process, and we kind of like it for that reason, because all that other stuff, it takes time, it takes effort, you have to convince your friends that, this will really work, and that's not easy to do. I have skeptical friends. I'm not friends with Alex Jones, but that's because I'm, an intelligent human being. But, my InfoWars, the fact that InfoWars is stupid. Somebody should take InfoWars and bury it somewhere, just sort of forget about it. Like a time capsule that you do with 4th graders, knowing that whenever they're, 60 years old, maybe they'll remember. But by that point, we already have the opening stages of Alzheimer's disease. So instead of going to the school to try to dig up the time capsule, they end up in fucking Times Square, because time is right there in the name, and they start digging up parts of Times Square, and then they get arrested. May I help you? So how's everybody doing? Oh my gosh, Troll of Metal, you have not been here in quite some time. You have not been in quite some time. I am in disbelief that you're alive. I thought that perhaps you had died. That someone through the intranet reached their hands out of the screen and strangled you. Or forced you to listen to something terrible, like, I don't know, Nicki Minaj. Whenever I'm at Walmart, all I find is Lil Wayne. Not only is it Lil Wayne, it's censored Lil Wayne. You have been working on fighting the good fight. Yeah. Well, dude, glad to have you back. Welcome back. It's been a very, very strange week. It's been a good week in some ways, a bad week in others. It's been awkward and weird. We've started this awesome Slay Cancer Stream-a-Thon and have a ton of incentives available to your left. You're probably smart enough to know what all this shit means. But anybody that has any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. I will answer any questions that are brought my way. I think that Slipknot's 6th album will be released whenever they decide to release it. So whenever, Corey Taylor and the rest of Slipknot decide to go to a studio-type facility and record it all, and then they send the recordings in a certain order. They send it over to the packaging plants, and so they put the packaging together, and they put the music on the CD or the vinyl record, which is its own process. Doesn't happen in the same place necessarily. Or maybe on a cassette tape, maybe they'll put it on a pizza or something like that, and if you eat it, then you just hear nothing but Slipknot for the rest of your life. It'd be maddening. Only certain parts, too. You have to eat the whole pizza if you want the whole album, so you best be a fat ass. And then they will take these products, they will place them in boxes, and then they will ship them to stores across the nation, where you can then go and you will see it there, and you'll be like, "Oh, goody! It's a new Slipknot album," and you will use money that paper that we have identified as having monetary value, and you will exchange this colored paper for a product of music that has blood, sweat, emotion, and tears, no doubts, encased within it, along with a bunch of other emotions. So it really seems like a very bad trade. You're getting something very personal from somebody. It's almost like you removed part of your skin and placed it on a surface, a medium, to deliver it to a person, and all that they trade it for is for money that we drew on with a green crayon. And that's where babies come from. That's where babies come from. Dagnabbit. There's a little gnat in here. It's pissing me off. Thanks for answering your comment. No problem, man. The real answer to that question is I think they were talking about a 2018 release. I like to have fun, though. I like to have fun. What do I think about Whitesnake? I saw Whitesnake in my yard once. This was about 20 years ago. And I really wasn't too sure what to think about it, to be perfectly blunt. It was just sort of slithering its way through. You could easily and very plainly notice it in the green grass. So a white snake sort of sticks out like a sore thumb. What was odd about it is that it then decided to rise up, and it started singing. And all of a sudden, while it sang, its hair formed, first of all, because snakes don't have hair, but it formed hair, and that looked like ramen noodles. And they sang glam rock. And they were just okay. They were just okay. And that's the tale about how Whitesnake was born. Any Porcupine Tree albums to recommend, because I know I'm a big fan? Metal Toucan. I started off with In Absentia, which may seem really typical at this point, but back in the day, back whenever In Absentia first came out, obviously that wasn't a vogue answer. It is one of their most, if not their most successful album, but we didn't know that whenever it was released. I got it on a total whim. But I recommend that. I recommend Fear of a Blank Planet. I recommend The Sky Moves Sideways. And I also recommend Up the Downstairs. If you really want to listen to something that's so different from them, that has like no metal value really whatsoever, you just want something trippy, check out Voyage 34. It's an experimental project that Steve did along with Porcupine Tree. And it's a trip. Literally. Pro mic anytime soon? Not today. So you might as well enjoy what you got today. That's hopefully a soon-to-be yes. So, when do I expect the new Morbid Angel album? I don't have anything funny to say about that, because it's been 6 years. Not the longest wait that we've had. Not even for a Morbid Angel album. If you want to be completely real. That's not even the longest wait that we've had between Morbid Angel albums. Between Heretic and Elid Divinium Insanus was like, whew, 8 years, I want to say. Close to, maybe 7. So, by virtue of that, they're right on schedule. New Iron Maiden album, I would probably say 2020. Although, the minute that I say that, which was a minute ago, there'll probably be an announcement that says New Iron Maiden album coming next year. But I would say 2020. Will Marty Friedman ever rejoin Megadeth? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, Morbid Angel's albums are created in alphabetical order, which makes it really, really easy to remember sometimes. Like, it makes it very easy to remember Gateways to Annihilation, Heretic, Illa Divinum Insanus. The, like, A through E can be a little bit frantic. Because F is easy, Formulas Fatal to the Flesh. But, like, Altars of Madness, you can remember that real easy. I have a lot of discs, I need to find my collection. Everything got kind of scattered about whenever the last time that I moved, which was years ago, and I just never gotten the drive or the desire to organize. Do I listen to Talk is Jericho? I don't listen to it live. I listen to it after the fact, usually on YouTube. I think Iron Maiden should hang up and call it a career. I disagree. I think they're just fine. I think that it's I think they're a band that can continue to make like average to above average albums. They still have the capability, because the Book of Souls, which still is an album that I go back to from time to this day, was very, very solid. It was very good. Best album of 2017 so far, Venom Inc.? Probably not. I would probably disagree with that, GP. But hey, if that's your pick, then that's good for you. I mean, that's great. I'm happy to hear it. I thought it was an okay album. Abe, but didn't necessarily set my world on fire. The song that was actually heard whenever I was going online, whenever I was going live, was from Motograter. Motograter with their first album in like a bazillion years. We're talking like probably 15 years. And it sounded pretty good. It sounded like they picked up right where the band left off all those years ago. And of course, Motograter famously had, was it Zoltan Bathory? And I don't think they had Ivan Moody, but they didn't have like 2 members of Five Finger Death Punch in it. Do you have any tips for a struggling YouTuber? Find another platform, because this platform is going down. Don't let it get you down. Just continue to post consistently, and as long as it's something that is fun for you to do, keep doing it. But the minute that it becomes work, or the minute that it becomes a commitment as opposed to something that you do for you, the minute that becomes a commitment or work, stop. Just don't even continue. It's not worth it. Because unless you are making money that you can live off of, and I mean serious money that you can live off of, nothing should seem like it is your job. It should be a hobby. And for a while there, I forgot that completely. Honestly, I have a lot more fun talking with you guys in this setting than I do making reviews anymore. Because I've just entered into one of those modes that you get into every couple of months whenever you do this, that, man, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I can feel and hear myself saying similar words. Because there's only so many ways that you can describe music, or there's only so many words in the English language. There's only so many ways to say that something is pretty decent, or that something is maybe in need of a little bit of help. And there's only so many ways that you can say that music is subjective. People aren't going to believe you anyway. They're going to basically proclaim what you've said as gospel after twisting it and contorting it to, satisfy their argument. That's the era that we're in right now. We're in the era of, well, you said, as though nobody in the history of time and space has ever changed in their life, and you are doing something so incredibly radical, it's almost like it's demonized, it's criminalized, you could be sentenced to death for it. But, yeah. Never ever let something that started off as a hobby that you decided to do for fun turn into work that you no longer like to do. Don't do that. How many more albums can AC/DC or the Stones make? AC/DC is a studio-only band right now, as of right now. And if they make any more albums, I would be surprised. And they don't need to. AC/DC doesn't need to make any more albums. The Rolling Stones, their blues album that they just released, Kind of Blue, or whatever it was, Black and Blue, I forget the title of it, was really good. They can make albums like that, like novelty albums for the rest of their career, and they would be fine. They don't need any new material. There are people that would go to see the Stones just to say that they went to see the Stones because everybody for like the past 20 years has been convinced that if they don't go and see the Stones, that's whenever someone will die. That's whenever Mick Jagger will all of a sudden slip and fall, like trip on one of his own wrinkles and smash his head open, his brain will fall out, and just there's the end of Mick Jagger. Or somebody is convinced that, you know, Keith Richards will finally take the one drug that will interact with the rest of his drugs, vital organs, blood, body, and just cause him to explode. And the final gift that Keith Richards will give to the world is a Keith Richards confetti that rains upon us, as though acid rain has suddenly turned into a wrinkled, drug-addled mush. And mothers will tell their daughters and sons, who will in turn tell their daughters and sons, honey, I know you want to, but don't even go near the Keith Richards mush. You'll get a contact high. I haven't seen Dunkirk yet either, but I am going to just go out on a fucking limb and say it's amazing. I'm just going to say it's an incredible film, because it probably is. Because Christopher Nolan has really done nothing wrong since Memento. And I should say since before Memento, because Memento is badass. I don't think he's swung and missed, really, in his career. And if he has, he's not swung and missed very badly. So if you haven't seen it, and if you're questioning whether or not you should see it, I would say just do it. Because I would place the percentage at like 75 to 80% that you will probably enjoy the film. And if you happen to fall within that 20%, then I apologize for the recommendation. How's everything going? The world is going nuts. But it's been alright. It's been a weird day already. One of my great uncles fell a couple weeks ago. He's finally talking about going home. And then I just learned this morning, actually I was woken up by a phone call, that my great uncle on the other side of my family fell like on Wednesday. And was on the ground, unable to contact anybody. Nobody came for him for like 3 days and is now pretty much on his deathbed. So that kind of sucks. But the man is 96 and more stubborn than I could ever be. So, what did we all expect? I think I have a solution, by the way. I don't want to get drastically political, but a solution came to mind as to how we can solve the North Korea and United States tension. And I think it's very simple, really. It's not a hard thing to do. Well, it kind of is. What you do is you get Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump together in a room. You have them do 3 trials against one another, and it's a best-of-3 series, which means that all you have to do is win 2 of them. First thing that you do is you have Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump go head-to-head with one another in a 10-minute street fight. All weapons are legal, but you are not allowed to kill your opponent. If you kill your opponent, then you get killed yourself. We have to keep this fair. It's a best of 3 after all. There's a lot more entertainment value to be had if they stay alive. So maybe anything that's particularly lethal we keep out of the street fight. You know, lead pipes, nah. Steel chairs, maybe. Boxes, definitely seems okay. Make sure they're not very well constructed. Or those cardboard things that you get from Sony. Or maybe Amazon. You know, real low-grade shit. Nothing can really go wrong. So after 10 minutes, you take a look at the two of them. And you see maybe who's bleeding more, or perhaps who's looking in worse shape. Whoever looks in worse shape loses, and they lose that round. So then, with the second round, Scrabble. That's right, Scrabble. Whoever wins at Scrabble, or Words with Friends, takes the second round. Notice how I'm doing this because I fully expect that Kim Jong-un will probably kick the shit out of Donald Trump in a street fight. But if we use the Oxford English Dictionary for Scrabble, we're at 1 to 1. 50-50. Why do I do this? For simple reasons. Because the third trial, sword fighting. And no, I ain't talking about with swords. You have Kim Jong disrobe. You have Donald Trump disrobe. You make sure that they got a little stiff, which they probably do 24/7 because they're in power. And you have them go at it. You have them go to town. And the first one that yells in fear or comes loses. What's the prize? If Kim Jong-un wins, he gets to detonate 3 bombs on the United States. 3 of them. If he loses and Trump wins, Trump gets to kill him, assume North Korea, and if he wants to make North Korea black and white with a shade of orange, he's free to do so. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. Repeating questions over and over again in chat ain't going to get them answered. But I'm going to tell you, do I still buy CDs? Yeah, I think I do. I have 6 of them coming in the mail. Now, of course, 2 of them aren't mine. 2 of them are actually to fulfill an incentive from the last marathon. But, yeah, I do. I'm not one of these types that goes to iTunes and says, "Ooh, I want this and this and this and this. I can't wait to listen to them on my phone." Because that's stupid. Whenever I grew up, it was a boombox, and a boombox that shall remain, or a computer box that has speakers. Maybe that's the most convenienced I'll ever be. Aside from that, I will prefer my inconvenience until the day I die. So anyway, I know that sort of took things in a strange direction, so let's slate cancer. Yeah! Who wants to be the first person that has their first donation come through, whatever. I should have re-enabled Super Chat. But I did not. What is this? What? Jeff Kim. Oh. Wow, that got really fast. That got there really fast. Holy shit. Jeff, if you're in chat, Jeff Kimbrough, you're welcome. That got there super duper fast. Like, a lot faster than I thought it would. Oh, it probably would help if I, like, launched PayPal. But yes, if you do decide to donate, please let me know which incentive you want it to go toward. We have some great incentives. Let's actually do a rundown of all of them. We have a portrait CD, which I will show you right here, right now. That's this album right here. It's by the same gentleman who did the Two Down record, and actually has a little bit more of a rock/metal edge to it. Pretty awesome. So, $100. We're going to do a giveaway for that. We're right now at $1.69. The second one that you see there, that's all like shrunken because I need to do that in order for it to work. Enfold Darkness. We're talking the brand new album just released in July. This is a first edition copy because I pre-ordered it, but it could be yours. $100 will do the giveaway. Remember, this is all going to Slay Cancer, thanks to the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. That is who's being benefited by these proceedings. Third one is a $50 Amazon gift card, or $50 that you can use toward buying stuff at Amazon. It'll be bought for you. It's pretty badass. That is right now at 0 of 250 bucks. And it's another giveaway. Number 4, there's a fan-voted rant video that we could have. If you've enjoyed the rants over the first 4 days, you know that you will not be disappointed. And the only difference is that while these have all been privatized to the comforts of the 27 or whatever number of you that there are currently in chat, that one will make it not only onto one of these streams, but also onto YouTube. Which means whatever you guys want me to rant about, I rant about it. It could be something completely ridiculous, and I would be forced to rant about it. I would be forced to rant about it. That would be something that chat would be, you guys would have to agree upon it, or maybe we would get 2 or 3 nominated ideas and then straw poll it. Number 5 right now is the one that is loved the most so far, with 105 of its $666 goal met already. A second Music Madness. There was some dissent over how the first Music Madness here in 2017 was handled, because old bands that had already won were allowed back in since the prize was different. Well then, fuck it, we'll just do it again if we make it to 666 bucks, and those bands will not be allowed in, and we'll go about and have the fun all over again. Number 6 is a Ghost LP giveaway, which is super duper cool. It's so cool that it is a surprise. All I can tell you is that it is a recent LP from the band, and its $700 price tag for the giveaway is certainly completely worth it, considering, hey, this whole thing's promoting and well, not promoting, but benefiting cancer research. Understand the words that I am coming out of my I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Number 7, people like to talk about, but I haven't seen a lot of money where their mouths have been. $18 out of $800 for a CKN striptease. No, you will not actually get to see Mr. Bojangles and Stickly, because this is YouTube, this isn't Pornhub. If you want to see that, you might have to ask me out and take me to dinner first, pump me through a couple of drinks, unless, of course, you know, you're hot. In which case, if you just come to my front door in the nude, I may say fucking and put out. Number 8 is a mystery giveaway. Now, this mystery giveaway is filled with stuff. And there are prizes that are mysteries even to me, because they are being sent to me from a wonderful, wonderful member of the nation. And I have been assured, and I have every last bit of faith and trust and belief in this individual, that it is exceptional and it is worth the $1,000 price tag, because, oh yeah, we're trying to benefit cancer research. Right now that is at, I believe, $12. And then finally, 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation. What you don't see on there is that it'd be 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation live streaming, which means I would be here. To put it into perspective, we're right now at 47 minutes and well, now 48 minutes I would have 23 hours and 12 minutes to go. So, that has a hefty $2,000 price tag, but is currently the second most loved at $64. Make you holla. Now, every $250, there is a shift in the way in which this is being donated. 5% goes more toward the charity side. So right now, we're stuck in the pits. Only 20% of it is going to the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. That's bad. Because that means I'm getting money, and that's bad. Every $250, that shifts 5% in the direction of the Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund until we reach $2,000. It will be capped at a 60-40 split. Because, you know, man's got to eat. And every $500, I'm doing the CKN dance. And I know that's like a 10-second dance, but this is for charity, folks. I don't think y'all understand. I need some of you to understand the idea that charity sometimes means that we do incredibly simple things that may happen one way or the other, but we attach some value to it in order to try to encourage the giving. I need to actually YouTube video this Stream-a-Thon, but every single time I do that, there are more people saying, well, why are you even trying to do that? And being basic assholes than actually supportive. But who knows, I need a good laugh. It's been a strange weekend. Might be a fun thing to do on a Monday. And oh, by the way, if you guys end up unlocking each and every one of those 9 incentives, that will be fantastic, first of all. But there will be 30 videos that will be made for 30 people that are in the chat room at the time. So that means that if there's that video that for a long, long time you've perhaps pushed for CKN to make, you push him to make it and it just never seems to happen. Well, if we make it to that level and you happen to be in chat, that's going to get made for you. 30 of you. And of course, if there's like 31 people in chat, I'll probably make it 31 people because I don't want that one person to come back later and say, well, you had that thing and then you only did it for 30 people and I was the only one who didn't do the video. I'll give you a participation trophy and make you a video. It just might be one that's like 10 seconds. I know I'm coming off right now as a sincere asshole, but I'm not. I promise you that. It's been a strange couple of weeks, and, you know, I'm, of course, we're aiming to do some great things. We just did some great things during day 3 also. We submitted our donation, our coverkillernation donation, our coverkiller donation for one of the kind pets. And I could not be more proud of you guys. $774 and 27 cents was the donation total that went off to one of a kind pets. You guys did. Well, we did a really good thing. We did a really, really good thing. When's the new Metallica album? And the rate that they're going, like 2023. So who's going to start us off today? Who's going to be the person that starts us off today? We are right now at $200.69. We are less than $50 away from bumping that percentage from 20 to 25%. And we are less than $300 away from the CKN dance. Can we get there by the end of the stream? I believe in you guys. Let's talk about Adolf Hitler. Hitler was a sensitive man. He was just somebody who wanted people to really, really like his paintings, but they didn't like his paintings, so he killed a lot of people for not liking his paintings. And then people wanted to kill him, and at first it was kind of cool to want to be killed, but then they started to get kind of close, you know? Like, within like a city block. And it was like, okay, that's a little too close to kill himself. And that's the end of the story of Hitler. Oh, he made some friends, too. They had a party, it lasted for like 10 years, I don't know. Cape Rare 23, what's going on? Welcome to the machine. Glad that you were able to make it. How do I feel about Lamb of God? It takes away the sins of the world. Have mercy on us. Oh, the band? They're pretty good. I like that Randy is fairly transparent. And also he bleeds what he sings about through that microphone. Like, none of that feels like it's just for the money. Do I listen to the new Metallica record at all? Yeah, I reviewed it. I reviewed the album, sir. Aliens, I'm going to go a little further than just the first four for Slayer. I'm going to go beyond Rain and Blood and also include South of Heaven and Seasons in the Abyss. I'm assuming that you're also counting Hell Awaits and Show No Mercy and, yeah, like the whole gamut. But, anything after Seasons of the Abyss and South of Heaven are just sort of like, I could take it, I could leave it, I could care, I could not. They have good ideas, but they have a lot of bad ideas, or just like bland attempts to call back the 1980s, because that's what the fans seem to be shouting for. Really, Slayer right now is sort of in a no-win situation. And honestly, the band could go the remainder of their career without releasing another album and be just fine. And that's just the truth. Slayer is a band that does not need to release another album because they are in a no-win situation right now. They're also, consequently, with some, in a no-lose situation. Slayer fans are the types, they're going to love whatever this band does. They're going to believe that it's great. Some will analyze it more than others. But within the fan base, they will always be satisfied. So, in that format, Slayer should release an album every year just to get the paycheck. But they don't want to do that, you know. They still care enough about their quality a little bit, or their desire to, like, try some new things from time to time. And that's where they're in the no-win situation, because no matter what they try, it's not going to really be good enough. It's not going to be... it's not going to catch the same way that things were caught with Hell Awaits, with Show No Mercy, with those initial 5 or 6 albums, the ones that everybody just loves to death and loves to pieces and considers to be timeless treasures of the heavy metal community. Now, one day we will know the truth about Adolf Hitler and Chester Bennington. Was Adolf like a distant uncle? Let's be real with this. Did Adolf actually scribble the words to Crawling and leave them in a closet? And Chester Bennington went into the closet whenever he was a kid and found it and wondered what he was going to do with it, so he turned it into a song. Yeah, I know Chester's death isn't a joke. I completely agree, Pinhead, but guess what? I am going to also be of the mindset that I can say a little bit of anything. Because Chester's reasons for dying, that's Chester's reasons for dying. And I'm going to tell you guys also something else. Some things we'll never know. And you can believe that there's this pedophilia conspiracy. You can believe that you should be uber sensitive because of the fact that it was a suicide. It is extremely sad. And it is also something where we do need a lot more awareness toward this. Because there are people out there suffering each and every day that we don't know about. And there are people that no matter what you do, if they are that adamant about doing it, if they are at that point, suicide prevention, the truest form of suicide prevention is having somebody with them 24/7, 365, which is a basic invasion of privacy. Chester Bennington killed himself on Chris Cornell's birthday. He was close with Chris Cornell. They were friends. That death hit him very hard. So, is it any wonder that it happened then? If it would have happened on any, like, random day, if it would have happened on, like, September the 4th, I think we'd have a lot more to worry about. I think we'd have a lot more questions that should be asked. Like the questions that are being asked right now that maybe don't need to be. But he killed himself on his very, very close friend's birthday. 2 months after his very close friend killed himself. And we're going to be talking about this forever. We're going to be talking about this forever. And I'm going to say something, one final thing. Speaking of the song Crawling, there's a reason why I do not make a top 10 Linkin Park songs of all time video. And it's not because I wasn't that big of a fan. Like I said, I bought Meteor the day that it came out. I didn't have a copy of Hybrid Theory, but my best friend did. So back in the day, whenever you were young and you didn't have money, your best friend having a copy of an album was like you having a copy of the album. I could make a top 10 list easy. But nobody would like my number one, except for those who heard it and those who understood it. The best song that Linkin Park ever did was the Reanimation version of Crawling, the very final track on the album. The remix. The remix features a very slow and haunting build. Hearing the words, the iconic words of Crawling in the background, sort of swirling around your head in a broken notion as it is building toward its first minute. And then it slowly fades into that familiar introduction musically of the song. But even then, the haunt is still not done. We get a secondary stop about 1 minute and 47 seconds in, where instead of it being Chester Bennington who cuts in and starts singing, instead it's Aaron Lewis from Staind. Now, many of you might have some bad opinions about Staind, believing they're a bad band, which, hey, after Dysfunction and Break the Cycle, you're probably right. I care less about the band after that. And that's kind of the sad part about nu metal. After so long, they became an afterthought. But that's what happens with trends. That's what happens with the vogue styles of music, which for those of you who want metal to become vogue again, my question is, why would you want that? Aaron Lewis sings, "Crawling in my skin, these wounds they cannot heal. Here's how I fall, confusing what is real in a sense that is so heartbreaking, and in a sense that is so devastating that it almost feels conversational. It doesn't feel like you're listening to a song. It actually feels like the song has transformed itself into a human being who's sitting right next to you. That's what happens for the next 5 minutes and 40-some seconds. It takes on that morphology of a human being that's sitting with you. And whenever you are going through a lot of shit, whenever you've buried a couple of family members that were close, whenever mortality starts to really get you get your first glimpse of it. You get your first glimpse of it. I guess that's the best way to put it. Being 18 or 19 years old, get your first glimpse at mortality whenever you see that your cousin decided to end it. And you hear that he was not given any help. In fact, he was given the tools to plunge further and further into a destructive cycle by the people that were claimed to be his family. You see and hear all that, and all of a sudden you hear a song like the reanimation version of Crawling, and you come face to face with your own mortality, and you come face to face with some pretty severe thought. And you're all by yourself. Perhaps you only have the comfort of a desk lamp and a pair of headphones. Any song that can constitute that emotion beats the crap out of breaking the habit. But anyway, that being said, I keep on getting back onto these very sort of serious subjects. Whenever we're supposed to be having fun and slaying cancer and doing all this stuff, and I'm supposed to be looking over here and saying, "Oh, we have a new donation from blah blah blah," but that's all not happening. So it's become super serious time. Notice I don't do a lot of album reviews anymore. There's 3 I'd like to do this weekend, but we're gonna see if that happens. I don't know. It's, as I said during the last stream, I think I could accomplish a lot more just doing a show on Twitch for like an hour or so than with 3 album reviews. But I don't know. I love how metal fans don't talk much about Weezer. They're not really hated, just not talked about. They pretty much established geek rock. Weezer is not geek rock. Weezer is just a rock band. And a fairly decent one as well. Weezer's a fun band to jam to sometimes. One disadvantage that I think that a lot of heavy metal fans corner themselves into is they pigeonhole themselves into believing that they can't listen to something because they're a metal fan. You're wrong. Listen to anything as a metal fan. There's people that come in that say, I love Blood on the Dance Floor and Black Veil Brides. They're allowed to do that. And they suffer the wrath. They get beat up for that, I'm sure, in nicer joints than ours. They're allowed to do that. Music's subjective. Weezer's not geek rock. Weezer's there's a rock band that tends to be really appreciated by nerds, by those who enjoy some D&D. They're just a fun band. They're just fun. What I call Danzig metal, I don't really care, to be honest. Danzig is Danzig. He's who he is. If I were to do anything, I'd maybe call it Fringe Line. I would call it Fringe Line. So, Fringe Line alt, Fringe Line punk, Fringe Line metal. There are some individuals that are sort of in a class by themselves. It's pretty cool, man. It's just pretty cool. My favorite bullet from my Valentine record would be the first one. I haven't heard anything much from them ever since that isn't any good. The Poison's excellent. Also. Danzig is a cat owner, so he cannot be metal. I'm a cat owner. Just saying. Weezer is emo pop. What is emo about? Well, Jay, if you're going with the old school, like, 90s version of the term, you got a point. But if you're going with the modern convention, wow, you're dead wrong. You like emo pop, so you basically know about, like, American football, Sunny Day Real Estate, etc. Where are you going? So you're wearing a dress like you're doing here. Do I look like a master style? Good. So if I ever look like a master style, tell me so I can kill myself. Arnold Palmer would be rolling in his grave right now. But I just finished the tea and I don't have another one lined up. It's okay. I'm going to be taking a break here shortly. Did Linkin Park popularized emo music? Nope. God, no. Absolutely not. I think I'm going to take a break. I think I need to step out for about 5 minutes or so. I'm in a really weird mood right now. I had the stream planned and everything, and I thought I was going to be going into it very positively, and it seems like the first half of this has been way too negative. There's been a lot of tension on my end. There's things I'm sort of not digging at the moment, so I'm going to take a couple minutes to air out a little bit. I'll see you guys shortly. Alright, we're back. For now, I don't know. I don't know how much longer this is going to be going. I don't know why, I'm just not really feeling this today. Not really feeling this very much today. This is, something's going on with me. I don't think my head's really in the right place. And, yeah, I just don't know. What's going on, John? I'm going to go for at least a couple more minutes. This has been a really odd day and odd afternoon, and I've had a couple more of these recently than I'd like to admit. So, yeah, kind of just have to take it by ear, or play it by ear, take it one day at a time. Seem kind of irritated by something, yeah. I'm still trying to put my finger on it. I think that I'm being faced with bigger decisions than I want to admit. And a lot of them can have some pretty big, ramifications or big changes, things that might have to be done to do the one thing that I don't like to do very much. I don't like thinking of myself all that much. And some things I might have to do in the near future that is really solely on that. So, what's going on, fat man? I don't know, this just doesn't seem like anything anybody in particular is all that into right now. I'm really not too sure how I feel about a lot of things at the moment. I felt this way a bit on Thursday whenever we talked on Thursday, and ended up here for 2.5 hours, so I was kind of hoping that it was going to be another stream similar to that, where that feeling was sort of there, but it's certainly not the case. Nothing particular went down the shit gutter, aside from like my mood, and it's just one of those things. Happens. I'm transitioning medicines, as a lot of you probably know, and that has had a pretty big effect. And I've had things happen over the last couple of weeks, and everything, and I've had to think of things. I've had to think of whether or not this is something that I can continue to do, even as the prospect of a 75% of my income type thing. And that just might not be enough. So I've been sort of struggling with that decision, and it seems like these are the moments where I should be extremely positive. That way we can really bond together and do everything that we can for. This is a horrible representation. The reason why I probably cut this stream short is because me looking like this and acting like this and asking these hard questions, it's a horrible representation of the cause that we're trying to promote and the cause that we're trying to help. This is a really bad representation of that completely. And because this should be something that is met with a lot more positivity. It's something that should be met with a lot more optimism. and I'm sitting here acting like we're at like the funeral of coverkillernation. It's impossible. Igloo, I will answer this question, but again, I will repeat the fact that just repeating stuff in chat ain't gonna work very well. As of right now, today, I have not listened to Disturbed, aside from the single that you might hear on the radio, ever since the release of their last album. It is not something I go to willingly, all that much. And if I do, it's usually The Sickness. It's usually The Sickness. Maybe a track off of Believe, not that much. To say that I am a massive Disturbed fan would be a lie. To say that I don't dislike them would be very true. But, yeah. Cancer's a horrible thing. It is. And I'm going to... I think I am going to cut this short, but I am going to leave with at least some piece of positivity, alright? And it's going to be this, you know. Throughout my life, in fact, for like the first half of my life, because I'm 33. I'm 33 years old. I will disclose that information willingly. I don't give a crap. I know that I'm getting old, but there's one cool thing about age is that experience comes from that, and you can talk a lot about things that you've experienced, and there's a good chance that other people have experienced things that are worse or that are better. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whenever you're just trying to tell a fucking story. If you're sitting there and the only thing that you're thinking about is, well, I've had it worse, then you're missing the point of the fucking story. Shut up. But for the first half of my life, death was it was like this far-off thing that wasn't going to affect, anybody that I knew or loved. You know, I was very jaded to it. The only time I ever really thought about it would be if I was in my room at night as a very young person, and for some strange reason the thought entered in, what's life going to be like whenever my grandma is gone? You know, maybe grandma just brought over some cookies, or just, you know, looked after me while my folks got a night to themselves. And I think, man, that was really great. I had a lot of fun. I love my grandma. Man, what's it going to be like whenever she's gone? It's going to suck and make me sad. That was the closest thing. And then, my uncle passed. He didn't pass cancer, at least not that we knew of. He passed of a silent heart attack. Thanks to the cancer of war. He was in Vietnam, and Agent Orange kicked his ass, to the point that before he died, he was attending church with a walker, and it was jokingly stated that if it got worse, then he was going to attend Mass by driving his car through the back of the church. That way he could at least see the altar. That happened, I was 18 years old, so it's a little bit, like 51% of my life right now was death-free, and then that happened. But it wasn't the end. You know, there was my cousin who, next year, after being really treated as an outcast within his family for mourning the death of his father, took his own life due to the cancer of depression. 2005, my grandmother on my father's side lost her battle to cancer, the actual disease, the actual cancer. She had it, I believe, in her pancreas. It was bad. And then 2011, the same year of such triumphs as the Morbid Angel, a Lid Divinium Insanus review, my mother's side, grandmother, cancer, everywhere. Hitched a ride in her blood. She was fine in June, around the time of my birthday, and by September she was gone. And the in-between time there was a exercise in remembrance of mortality that was one of the biggest lessons that I've ever had. You know, fortunately, most of the folks that I've had to bury have been elderly. They've been old, with the exception of my cousin and really my uncle. Both of them. One who died, like I said, due to the cancer of war, and the other who also died as due to the cancer of war and depression, considering he slit his throat from one side to the other. Because some doctor decided that he was doing well enough that he didn't need his meds for paranoid schizophrenia. Cancer of the mind. Had an aunt that died of dementia, cancer of the mind. And I now have a great uncle who is going to be dying from the cancer of being a stubborn jackass and not getting things squared away. Realizing he's 96 years old and probably should take better care of himself. What we're doing here for cancer, why I chose this cause in particular, because I'm going to tell you something. I had the people who were opposing this being the selection. There were people, whenever they found out that the cause for this month's Stream-a-Thon, that the next cause that we were going to put our efforts toward was cancer, they got very pissed off because they thought that it should be for suicide prevention because of what happened to Chester. Now, I'm going to be very real with you. Not only had I had this idea in mind in late June, my tech department confirmed that for me last night. She and I had spoken about that in late June whenever I was in Akron, Ohio. Our lives do not and should not revolve around these people. We should look at them and look upon them as heroes or as great people that make great music. We should see them as people to maybe emulate. But if I would have done anything for Chester, for that cause in particular, I should have done it the day after. It should have been one day, and you get that out. Maybe it's something that we'll do something for in the future, but that was not the plan. Everything was already being put into place. I'll tell you, do not let other people dictate your lives, because cancer dictates lives. And it's been a bit dark for me recently. Changing up meds will do that. Having a lot go on outside of my own mind will certainly do that. Anxiety is its own cancer. Any ailment that you can think of may not fit the definition of what truly cancer is. You have cancer in you right now. Let's just be real about it. But any ailment that you see could potentially have the illusion of cancer, because it's something that takes over your life. It dictates your life, and your goal is essentially to make sure that you are not defined by that thing. You're not defined by it. It's instead something that you either rise above or basically try to go out with grace. And sometimes cancer doesn't even allow that. Sometimes cancer just basically says, you want that? That's not what I want. Too bad. I chose this cause not only because of my own experience, but I chose this cause because of the experience of others. Every person that I know has had somebody affected by cancer. We have people in the chat that have had people affected by cancer or have it themselves. And each and every one of you, whether you're some meme star, some troll, or, just a casual person entertained by a guy who sometimes gets way too serious for his own good, you've been affected by it. It's something that affects everybody. And it's something that I know, it seems like no matter how many times we aim to raise money for this, it never seems to go away. But that's because it's a fight that goes on and on and on. And I'm going to give you a comparison. Some of you might not like. And others, it might be a wake-up call and make you realize that this is what we're going up against. 2001, of course, September 11th happened. And from the day after, we were in a war on terror. We sunk trillions of dollars into a war, the war on terror, that was not against a country, it was against an idea. We basically all funded a war that was about a concept. It's no different than the war on drugs. It's no different than the war on poverty. For some strange reason, America loves to go to war, even if it's on something that's just an idea or a word or grammar. Well, cancer's real. You know, something you can study under a microscope and clearly identify your enemy. It's similar to us becoming part of the Allies and going up against the Axis. It's the same as, you know, America going up against the British in the Revolutionary War. It's the same thing as the French and Indian War, where, you know, the colonists went up against Frenchmen and local Indian tribes, such as the Iroquois, or the Erie Indians. So we know what our enemy looks like. We know. And you might think that because of that, it means that this is a war that has an end point. That once there's a cure for cancer, then bam, no more cancer. Well, I'm going to tell you something. We have a cure for the common cold. People still get it. We have a cure for the flu. The flu keeps on finding new ways to fuck us up. But the vaccines work. I mean, I took a flu vaccine last year. Did I get the flu? If I did, it was for like 12 to 18 hours, enough to help me miss a day of work and be absolutely miserable for a day. But did I get the full 3-week fuck you flu? Nope. Do I still get a cold from time to time? Sure. It's the most common virus on Earth, the rhinovirus. Cancer's just as common too, because we all have it. If Obama wouldn't have gotten into power, the war on terror wouldn't have ended, and maybe it technically still hasn't. So maybe we're just fighting this everlasting war against an idea. So what's so wrong? You know, we're okay with fighting an everlasting war on an idea, but we expect an end point to a war on cancer? That's silly. Even whenever it seems like the work is done, the work isn't done. Even if it seems like one event is able to deliver, you know, a donation the size of a couple of $1 million, it doesn't mean that the events that can only maybe muster up 774 are not important. Lurch, I apologize, man. I'm kind of really fucked off right now. I'm kind of really fucked off right now, and I'm sorry that you came into it. I'm ending this in a couple of minutes because I'm just not in a very good place right now. This is the wrong way to represent this cause. It's the wrong way to represent this event, and it's unacceptable. And I figured I would give myself some air, and that would help out. I figured I would give myself the opportunity to change up my mindset a little bit. And it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. MafiaAddict.com. Goodbye. You know, Mafia Addict, I should have said this before you left. The only reason that I would let you stay and make that kind of advertisement would be if you were actually a part of the Mafia and you wired me $5,000 or $5 million. So, yeah. probably down over the fact that this isn't being spread around the way that I was hoping that would, and it's not any of your faults. It's completely technology. It's everything that I'm trying to do on my side. It's basically feeling like I've tried to do everything in my power to bring more people on board and this and that, and it just, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't know what that means, but I'm tired. So, I am going to cut this short. I will say what I always say: if you would like to donate to this cause while I am offline, I will not ever discourage that. In fact, I encourage it. Please, make me work some on these incentives while I'm gone. Make me have to actually do something with this. Might put me in better spirits. Might help me have a better mindset. Maybe I'll stream a little later on tonight. There's the pay spin right there that is going to have all the incentives and everything like that. Just be sure you let me know where you want it to go, or else it's going to go to nothing and it's just going to go into someone's pocket that is in a bad place right now. We do have something. Hold on. Before we go. Justin Neely, I want to talk to you guys real quick before I go about Justin Neely, because he's donated during 3 of the 4 events, and I have a feeling it's been the 3 that he's been fortunate enough, or unfortunate enough to attend, all depending, considering my mindset's been so scattered. $5 from him. He's a great example right now. He's a terrific example right now. I'm thankful to have you, Justin, and I'm glad that you have found this stream to be like, I guess, enough of a stream in the fact that it's someone live and talking in person instead of just in a video to still donate. I appreciate that. I'm appreciative of you. As of right now, I will ask and promote the cause, but I don't feel like I'm in the mindset where if I get anything for it, or if we do anything for it, that it's deserved. So I'll see you guys maybe later on the night, maybe on another day. I will call the next day, day 4, or the next time I stream day 4, because I don't feel like branding this as day 4, because it is train wreck and a nightmare. So thanks again for everybody who came out. I do appreciate you guys, as always, and I'll talk with you guys next time.